This album could be full-length songs of skippity-doo, and people will pretend like it was the best album of the year. This week on Hip Hop Stocks, where we use the music we love to explain the stock market. This week, music is down. As projected, we've been making a killing selling puts in this market. Always remember that you can make money as the stocks go up and as they go down. And last week we only got one song for the portfolio, and it was from the Pop Smoke's Faith. Sadly, that project was a mesh of either subpar music or promotional stunt music, making it one of the most disrespectful albums made in the memory of the deceased. But besides that, music was mad dry. Trippie Redd was trash, had more logic for those who were counting. Blxst and Bino was a project that I was hoping could turn the tide, but it never did. I do believe we reached the bottom of the market crash. Why? Of course it's because Kanye West is dropping this week. Regardless of the quality of the album, which Meek Mill of all people was questioning it, this album is going to bring in more attention to the culture than the last 5 weeks combined. The results of being an unpredictable and notable star. This album could be full-length songs of skippity-doo, and people will pretend like it was the best album of the year. And yes, I'm hoping Drake takes this moment to be petty and drop an album. That would suck for me as a reviewer, but that brand of pettiness would be priceless. Jay-Z would do it. In fact, he's already been doing it. Do you even care about anything dropping outside of Kanye? You do know labels are going to set up the artists to fail, like The Kid Laroi or Young Blue. It's a shame, but Kanye did come out of nowhere. So of course we would be buying a car here. The problem is, we're too late for the good prices. See, for every call, there's a put. You are pretty much betting against each other. And I don't see anybody betting that music is going to go down this week. So I'm gonna take my 20 cases of due and wait for a better opportunity for easy money. But let's go ahead and look at some of the biggest trending stocks of this week. Tory Lanez is up. And shockingly so. This man, off the strength of quality content, has been able to sidestep the waves of hate that he deserves. Not only did he release one of the better R&B albums this year with Playboy, but now dropped a solid freestyle on Funk Flex, and that has been trending. Being a talented individual was never a question for this stock though. This is why I invested in Tory Lanez when he was a startup. I was an investor. There are videos of freestyle battles of when he was in high school that you can look up. Projects like Swavy and Mr. Peterson still find their way onto my portfolios. Tory Lanez could have been what Kanye is today if he could only play the major music industry game better. But we all know why I sold my stock here, right? He shot one of the hottest rappers in the game in her foot. First of all, are you that scared that you gotta shoot a woman? Second of all, y'all gonna let this Canadian immigrant who claims to be Caribbean shoot one of us? See, when fundamental things about your stock changes, you should be taking your money out. For example, if you bought a stock because they offer dividends, or a check based on how well the company does for the shareholders, and they stop doing dividends like how AT&T did, then you should drop that stock. I bought into Tory Lanez because he was young and gifted brother that I wanted to support. Now he's someone that I can't support due to his actions. Therefore, I cashed out because there will always be another play. I will say the freestyle was fire though, until he said the bars that shout out to the baby, Roddy Ricch and Little Baby. Y'all would have won y'all awards if they really didn't frame me. Like, really? You're being framed by who? This is another in a long line of areas where he continues to prove how much of a liar he really is. Do you really think Tory Lanez would hide the true shooter of Megan Thee Stallion? The guy who makes full mixtapes about his exes? This is the guy who hasn't told us who really shot Meg, when Meg is saying that he shot her. How many times has his story changed by now? I've lost count. I need to see not guilty and Meg recanting her statement, but until then, this stock can go back to penny stock status for all I care. Nas is down for his diss to Tupac being released. And all you Nas fans need to come here and hold this L, because this one is really for you. Alleged insiders have said that a Nas diss towards Tupac was so brutal that it had to be deleted. And I'm hoping it wasn't this one. This one was just straight up trash. How do I know there were many? We talking about the Nas who made Ether, one of the greatest rap disses of all time. And like 40 the other forgotten diss tracks at Jay-Z that weren't very amazing, you telling me that that guy didn't make so many songs but never got a chance to release it because of Tupac's death? You guys don't pay much attention to history now, do you? This was bad. Tube socks to Timbs to blue rocks and bins. Who got the ends? The type that Tupac pretends. See, I ain't even mad at the music. For a song to never have came out in the 90s, this wasn't the worst that I've came across. I love Nas. I was actually on Nas's side in the Ether versus Takeover, and I do want to see a Jay-Z versus Nas. That would be dope. But it was the Nas fans trying to make him out to being beyond one of the greatest rappers to ever do it. Everything he's ever touched was a classic, literally, as if I Know I Can Be What I Wanna Be wasn't a single of his. And I love the message, but easily the worst song he's ever made. He made One Mic, one of the most powerful songs of a generation, but this is the best that you have for the kids. And then you made it a single so that we can just embrace in the trash. And you fans will argue with me to this day on how good it was. I just enjoy watching people crash back to reality. So what? Nas made bad music in his career like everyone else. Why does that offend you to the point that you want to cry? You rather crap on every single new artist that you've never even listened to so that you can pole jock a rapper whose best diss that day was pathetic. That my generation's music is better than the next. Arrogance that you hold and you've placed on your icons is doing nothing but making you look foolish. Again, Nas is too big to fail. All of his investments and his history makes him the apple of hip-hop stocks. Things like this isn't going to affect him at all. So therefore, Nas is still a long-term play that we're never going to be letting go of. But we all know that this was never going to be $1 million a share, like some people will try to argue. And August 3rd, it's Dipset Verzuz Lox. Who you got? And is J.R. Writer included in Dipset since he wrote all of the best bars? I rock with Jim Jones. In the long run, I think he was always the best of Dipset, but never was appreciated of such. Killer Cam was never a great rapper, but his raw audacity, personality, and ability to make quality music made him mandatory. Jewels was trash. But he was smart enough to have J.R. Writer and Just Blaze when people could afford them. When was the last time that you've listened to Diplomatic Immunity? Minus the hits. It isn't as good as I remember, but your experience might be different. I love Dipset and I believe they have more cultural impact than the Lox. But if this one were to be determined just by the music, it's hard to go against the Lox. Why? Lyricism. See, when Killer Cam was rapping about the itsy bitsy spider, Jadakiss was helping set the standard in which all battle rap bars are judged by today. Too bad as a solo act, he went the way of Kyrie Irving, only dominant in super teams. Styles P is a lot like Jim Jones, the most slept on, but as time has passed, he proved that he was probably the best at music creation. Too bad the world was expecting that from Jadakiss. People treat Sheik like he was the Jewels of the group, and if he was, then this battle was already over. Sadly, he's like 1,000 times better than Jewels. Quote it, put it in the books, tell him I said it. But this matchup is why Dipset wins. Let's not get it twisted. Versus battles are not about being better musicians. Versus battles are about how many culturally shifting songs have these groups or individuals had. And since the streets holds up just as well as Diplomatic Immunity, then we are going to get the solo albums to fill out these slots. So we're going to get a Jadakiss We Gon' Make It versus Cameron's Old Boy. We're going to have to experience the lows of Jim Jones' Pop Champagne and watch it get ate up by Styles P's I Get High. All just to watch easily the worst artist on stage win the entire battle with Dipset Anthem, as Sheik will have no response. This is how I see things playing out, but anything can happen. But I think we're in for a good one.